Welcome back, and if you just joined us, you're watching World Insight, brought to you from Beijing. Let's move now to our second story as we turn to Pakistan. For the past couple of weeks, politics there have continued to churn. The resignation of President Pervez Musharraf, meant to end political convulsions, has only succeeded in pushing the crisis into a whole new phase. Islamabad now appears poised for more political uncertainty rather than the unity needed to take on the pressing challenges from Islamic extremists and a shaky economy.
Pakistan is heading for a fresh crisis. On Monday, the country's fragile governing alliance collapsed when its second largest partner pulled out.
We therefore feel that these repeated defaults and violations have forced us to withdraw our support from the ruling coalition and sit on the opposition benches.
Sharif's PMLN party had repeatedly threatened to leave the coalition led by the Pakistan People's Party, or PPP. Sharif insisted on immediate restoration of more than 60 judges, including deposed Supreme Court Chief Justice Iftikhar Chowdhury. But PPP leader Asif Ali Zardari, the widower of slain former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, was reluctant to reinstate Chowdhury.
The PPP has been dragging its feet on the reinstatement as Zardari fears the judge's return could mean the end of an amnesty on corruption charges that brought a couple back to Pakistan last year. But Sharif did not want the presidency to retain certain powers, including that to dismiss parliament.
The irreconcilable differences finally ended the 5-month political marriage. The PPP announced that Zardari would run for president. Sharif named former Chief Justice Saiduzzaman Siddiqui as his party's candidate. In Karachi, Pakistanis expressed mixed reactions to the latest political developments.
Today they say they're in coalition. Tomorrow they say they're pulling out of coalition. Have they formed this coalition just to get rid of Musharraf?
The answer may be yes. Though the coalition split in acrimony, it had worked together to bring down Musharraf.
Today, I decided to resign from my post. My resignation will reach the Speaker of the National Assembly today. I leave my future in the hands of the nation and the people. Let them be the judges.
Pervez Musharraf announced his resignation a week ago Tuesday, saying that he hopes to spare Pakistan from a dangerous power struggle. A career army officer, Musharraf came to power in a 1999 coup. He went on to be a close US ally in the war against terror and narrowly survived Al-Qaeda-inspired assassination attempts. But the alliance with the United States was always a hard sell in Pakistan. His enemies said he betrayed Islam by caving into US pressure to abandon support for the Taliban government. In late 2007, Pakistanis welcomed back from exile Sharif and Benazir Bhutto, the leaders they were disillusioned with a decade earlier. Musharraf hoped to be re-elected before his term ended in late 2007. But as challenges mounted, he tried to force Supreme Court Chief Justice Iftikhar Chowdhury to resign. Chowdhury's defiance mobilized a lawyers' movement to defend the judiciary and galvanized the opposition. Last November, a desperate Musharraf imposed emergency rule for 6 weeks to purge the judiciary before the Supreme Court could rule on the legality of his re-election. Having secured a second term, Musharraf quit the army to meet a constitutional requirement and set an election date. But Bhutto was killed on December the 27th while campaigning, sparking a forest fire of conspiracy theories, most damaging to Musharraf. Her widower, Asif Ali Zardari, led the Pakistan People's Party to victory in February's election and forged an alliance with Sharif that completed Musharraf's isolation.
Since 2002, the US has been balancing relations between Musharraf and Benazir Bhutto. It hoped Musharraf could stay on the stage to help the war on terror and then expected a smooth transfer of power from Musharraf to Bhutto to show democracy. But now all the hopes have faded. Now I don't think the PPP can stand for a long time.
然后呢又能保证它的防恐目标的实现。
Now Musharraf has gone. His rivals no longer have the Musharraf excuse for many of the country's pressing problems. Now politicians need to face some real threats. Ever since Musharraf's resignation, militant violence has claimed over 100 lives in the past 2 weeks. One of the country's deadliest attacks occurred 20 miles west of the capital Islamabad a week ago Thursday. A double Taliban suicide bombing hit one of Pakistan's most sensitive and heavily guarded military installations.
The important thing is that this attack wasn't targeting just the Pakistan Ordnance Factory employee. It was a conspiracy against the whole country. Those killed were working to strengthen Pakistan. It is the whole country that has suffered from this.
In stark contrast to the Taliban strongholds in the northwestern regions, the area around the capital used to be quite peaceful, and this made the twin bombings even more shocking.
The incident was a very sorry, deplorable thing. Suicide bombers have also reached here. This is a sensitive security area where no such thing has happened before. God destroy them and protect our Pakistan.
The latest developments raise the disturbing question, can Pakistan's new rulers cope with a terrorism that threatens to destroy their troubled nation?
The political infighting has weakened the ruler's ability to focus on violence. In fact, the PPP and the PMLN has never cooperated in the past and were at daggers drawn during the 90s in competing for power. It is called a dark decade, referring to the political instability and economic stagnancy.
The violence and political uncertainty, on top of weak economic indicators, have undermined investor confidence and sent the country's financial markets sharply lower.
There's no confidence in investors. No chances are there of new investment. The foreign reserves are falling. Obviously, this political situation has its blow.
During Musharraf's 9-year tenure, Pakistan has seen its economy come back from the brink of bankruptcy and become more open and investor-friendly. But the gap between rich and poor has widened. Soaring international food and energy prices, along with mismanagement during the past year, undid much of the good. For Pakistanis expecting a better future after Musharraf, the only hope is that the politicians can stop squabbling and think of their country's interests.
The issue is not where Zardari sits or where Nawaz Sharif does. The issue is just one. Where will the people eat from? Where will they earn their living from?
Questions about the future in Pakistan may bring a despairing shrug. Many fear that the malaise may be just too deep to save the troubled country.
As the only Muslim country to have nuclear power, any instability in Pakistan will be a blow to America's war on terror. Right now, there's a vacancy in US policy towards Pakistan, as neither John McCain nor Barack Obama wants to get involved ahead of their election. But whoever steps into Musharraf's shoes in September will certainly continue the fight against terrorism. But many also fear the militants will take advantage of the political uncertainty by strengthening their hand.
Much more to see in Inner Mongolia.